Hello, everybody. It's been a while since I posted. Been recovering from my surgery with my heart. It's going okay. It's been pretty well, actually. It's been almost a month. 29th will be a month. Few complications, but I've overcome them. I'm reading the Bible. Like I said, I finished it and I started back in Psalms and, you know, going over verses and reading scriptures and highlighting things that resonate with me. This time around, first time I just read it to put it in me. The second time I'm reading it trying to understand. And I'll continue to read this until the day God takes me, you know. But I was sitting there contemplating about things in life. And people, how we are. I've my own struggles and the things that I've been involved in with life. Like I've always had hobbies, like severe hobbies. I was in RC, radio controlled, FPV, jets, airplanes, helicopters for years. I like hobbies. Then I was into guns, still love guns, 3D printing, skateboarding. I've always had these hobbies, cycling, and not realizing that a lot of these hobbies, and they're primarily healthy, except for one exception, they're a distraction to take you away from the real reason why we're here is to, you know, understand and put faith in Christ so that we can return one day. And I look around when I'm out in public, and it's amazing how I see people. And I suggest you just take a moment and stop 15 seconds, just wherever you're at in public, and just look. Everybody's down like this, just stuck in the phone, being distracted constantly. We're always being distracted by something. And Satan doesn't have to do anything but distract you just enough to take you away from Christ. And there's so many distractions: TV, phones, unhealthy hobbies, not devoting your life to Christ or your family or forgiveness or loving your neighbors. I think about my own struggle too, just trying to come to. It's hard to understand that that it's forgiven, like all my sins are forgiven. Coming to that realization is tough. I still struggle with it from time to time. But I was thinking about how we are as a population. Like, I don't listen to the news. I don't know what the weather's going to be unless somebody tells me or I see it that day. Like I said, I don't want to hear about horrific things that I already know exist in this world. But I look at us as a population, and the majority of people, especially with today's technology, we are all consumed with ourselves, into ourselves, about ourselves, And I look at these things and the things that people are consumed with, the way they look, the way they dress, what car they're driving. Do you have the latest Nike or Jordans on? What's the latest handbag? What do you smell like? I mean, all the things that have no value in your life when you die. Nobody's going to care what you're wearing, what you smell like, how good you look. None of that matters. And I can tell you that just because I've never been that person. I don't care what I look like or how I dress. I have pictures of me from a child. I was always in shorts and a t-shirt. And I primarily wear t-shirts and shorts year round. Um, and I never really, thank God, I never really cared about the opinion of others. And maybe that not caring what people think of me has contributed to me not looking as old as I am at 61. But it's crazy how we allow everything in our life to take you away from what is real and true. And that should be developing your relationship with Christ. I know he's real because he saved my life. Literally saved my life multiple times. Got medical proof of it. And it's hard for non-believers to see that. But if you just look at society, it's full of hatred and racism, which is ridiculous because we're all kind of like leaves on a tree. We all come from the same tree. We're feeding off of the same thing from the soil. But yet we're wrapped up with what we look like, what we want to call ourselves, how we should be called. When really, in reality, all you are is just a child of Christ. We're brothers and sisters. We're all humans. We're the same species. But yet we have so much hatred toward each other. People absorb. You don't realize if you eat enough shitty food in your life, it's going to affect your health. You put enough poison and toxins into your mouth, it affects you. It's the same thing with your ears and your eyes. You see the same stuff over and over again. Murder, just the horrible things that goes on in the world. Politics that do nothing but divide people and humanity. And always picking a side, am I a Republican? Am I a Democrat? Am I a liberal? Do I believe in socialism? And none of that's important. That's all division. That's all distraction. That's Satan just constantly distracting you with all this crap and things that are out there. And it's the farthest thing from the truth. The truth is the person standing next to you is your brother or your sister. We're all the same species. Who cares what the melon of your skin is? And just society produces hate. Hate is nothing but evil. Literally it's Satan. And you look at the times that we're in and, people in this world are so confused and, this identity that people try to take on and, this multiple thing in the world with all these different genders. There's only two genders, people, male and female. Every human being came through the womb or the belly of a female. Science. We're so wrapped up with the crap that goes on in society. It's horrible. And people have just lost their focus. And I guess I'm just saying this in general to open your eyes up. Just what is really important to you? Because I can tell you this, at the end of days, and nobody knows the end of days. We have a lot of people predicting the end of days, and Revelation tells you that's nobody's going to know, right? No one knows that day. I pray to God that I'm not here during that day. I don't want to be here during that day. But if I am, it's I am. But really, it's your relationship with your belief in God. Society it's at its worst right now. And everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to be on TikTok. And I look at all these women constantly showing their bodies and just everybody on TikTok and YouTube and all these social media, which is nothing but a construct of distraction to pull you away from what really matters in life. And then generations coming up see this and they think it's the way of life, that I need to be famous. Oh, this person has a wonderful life. No, you're a human. You have the same problems everybody else does. You think rich people don't struggle? You think rich people don't get depression? You think rich people don't have problems? It's the same as poor people. We're all the same. We all run through the same emotions. We all go through the same emotions. It just depends on what time of your life that you may be going through that motion. But we're identical in a lot of ways. What makes us different is is pretty much the wickedness in our mind. That we create division. We don't create unity. Society is constantly tearing us apart. The governments are tearing you apart. Things that you hear on the TV and the news and social media, it's all a distraction to tear you apart. Nothing but distractions. It's funny, people admire, thank God I don't watch sports. People admire athletes and movie stars and singers and rappers and people in the music industry. Everybody's so consumed with other things in life. And really, your only thing should be is a relationship with Christ. You have so many people that attend church, but yet don't read the Bible, haven't read the Bible. I was one of them. I'll read this book till the day I die. That's one thing I told God when I came out of these struggles, that I won't quit. And it may take me a lifetime, but I'm not going to quit. I lived a life of sin. But it saddens me when I think about society and the way we are, and how far we've come and how far we've fallen, and how it's become a norm. And that's the problem, is that we all think it's just normal, right? It's not normal. Nobody cares. Who cares? The only thing that should count is what God cares. You're going to die one day. And you have to think about that. What's your last day on your deathbed going to be like? Are you going to have thoughts that, yeah, I did all right. I put my faith in Christ. I was a good human being. We're all evil. We're all wicked. We're all sinners. But it doesn't mean you can't put effort in, right? I just wish that it was a better place, right? That people put more effort into a belief system in God, in Jesus. Why not make Jesus a rock star? Why not worship Christ? Why not worship, God the Father? I've been distracted by so many things in my life, and being that God has saved my life, I can't turn back on my old ways. And that's where the fear of God comes in. It's that I know what my life was before, which I thought was fantastic and fun. But in reality, it wasn't. I was missing something. And that's the relationship that I'm building now. I'm not perfect. I'm a sinner. I'll die a sinner. But at least I know that Christ is real, and that I'm continually working on that relationship. Because I don't know if I'm going to be in God's kingdom, right? And that's what I want. That's what promised to me with belief. sometimes faith is, I say, take a leap of faith. It's tough crossing that line. You know, it's like being on a cliff trying to dive and you just see how high you are. And it's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And then when you finally take the leap of faith, you realize, oh, it wasn't so bad. Anyways, that was it. I'm just hope that people come together more than separate and put your belief and values in something that means something. Your relationship with Christ. Like I said, it's not about who we are, what we look like, what we drive. In the end days, it's really going to be like your relationship, you know? And my goal is just think about it. Really, just stop in public one day, just for like 15 seconds, and look at society. Look how lost we are. Just lost. And that itself saddens me. But anyway, that was it. Rambling. God bless everyone. Put your faith in Christ and be careful what you put in your ears and what you feed your eyes and what you allow your mind to absorb, because evil is everywhere and it will taint you. You can't stand in muddy waters and not get dirty. It's impossible. All right. Everybody have a great day. If you like it, put a like, I guess. Thanks.